Good morning, everybody. It's Gary here. 4:30 in the morning. I've noticed since I've been retired now almost a month that my sleep pattern is all over the wall, all over the place, all over the place. Sometimes I wake up at 2 a.m. Sometimes I wake up at 4. Sometimes, and like today, 4:30. Got up at 3. Finally got up, had my second cup of coffee. But get my blood moving. And hell, I even go for a walk in the morning, first thing in the morning, which is going to talk about the topic about pack rats. But we'll get to there in a minute. But some of the observations I have when I'm walking first thing in the morning before the sun comes up, because it's hot as a cat's crotch in Cincinnati, Ohio. I don't know about you guys where you live, but it's in the mid 90s here, and I don't mind the heat. I'd rather have the heat. I'd rather have the heat than the ice and the snow and the sleet. I'm just saying, because I can't stand that. I can't stand the winter weather. Can't stand it. Anyway, starting this thing off, I want to talk about if you've been following me, my content, you're probably sitting back in your chair and going, that guy Gary, he's kind of critical about stuff. I own that, and he's kind of judgmental. I own that too. But here's my thing. I tell it like it is. I've always told it like it is. When I see it, I call it out. And some people say, oh, turn the other cheek. Turn the other cheek. It says in the good book, turn the other cheek. I've read the good book. I'm Catholic. But so, I'm a God-fearing man. I live my life by the golden rule. I really do. When it comes to treating people nice, I treat them good. I treat people nice. If they don't treat me nice, I don't go after revenge and try to get them back. I just leave. I just go. But I had a guy. I'm random. I get off topic sometimes, but I reel myself back in. You'll see this about me. God, this thing keeps on moving. I had a guy I worked with, and he'll know who he is without me saying his name. I was in like 13 stores in 36 years, and the reason why was because I wanted to keep moving up with my company, and to do that, I had to do lateral moves, more lateral moves, to show that I'm worthy of what I really want to do as a meat cutter. And I wanted to get as high as I could without being too high up. I didn't want to be a head meat cutter because they get all kinds of heat. I just wanted to be the assistant head meat cutter, and that's what I did. Because the head meat cutter's got to take all the flack. I just was doing what he said, and generally, most of those guys were pretty cool to work for. But I worked in this one store. This guy used to say, Gary, you're an HR nightmare. And for those watching don't know what HR is, human resources. And they take care of all the problems in the store. But he said, you're an HR nightmare. And I would laugh at him. I say, I've not been busted yet. And at the time he said that was probably my 29th year with the company. And I was right in there because I was 36 years. So yeah, 28th year, 29th year, right in there. But he said, you're an HR nightmare. I said to him one day, I said, you've never casted a stone about what you think about certain situations or people as you see them? That shut him up real fast. It's like, oh, didn't say a word after that. But I call it like I see it. And that's me. And you're going to see that a lot in my content. I don't pull punches. And if you worked in my industry as long as I have, you would see it. But I don't want to go off topic too much. I want to get on the topic of pack rats. So I'm going to go to the pack rats. But I got to throw out a little bit of backstory, a little bit here and there, to let people know what I'm all about. So I walk every morning. I like to walk in the afternoon sometimes, but I'm real fair skinned, as you can see, and I don't like to be in the sun unless I have to be in the sun, because I burn. I'm that Eastern European. I come from Polish descent, so us Polacks, we're fair skinned, Anyway, so I like to walk in the morning. Besides, no one else is up. You could always tell. You could always tell if I'm like I leave my house. I leave my condo at around 6:15 in the morning. I'm due to go here in a little bit, but 6:15 in the morning, and it takes about 40 minutes for me to do a brisk walk around the community. And the one thing I noticed is, and it's what I was thinking about this yesterday when I was doing my walk. I said, "Oh, I'll talk about this in one of my programs," because I've always thought about it and noticed it, but I'm going to bring it up now because now that I'm retired, I have more time to think about what I want to say, and do say it. The condos, the community I live in is surrounded by big homes. So the condo I live in is all condos chained together in big rows. And then if you go outside, I call that the little what do you call it? The little fingers. You know, they go left and right around the community. And then in the center of the community is homes, big homes. And I walk down those streets because they're long. And I noticed the other day, and I've noticed it a few times in my life, but I was thinking about what I was going to say in my content today. A lot of cars that people have are parked in their driveways. And they have 2-car garages. All these houses got 2-car garages. Their cars are parked outside their garage. And then the overflow is in the street. And a lot of people's cars are in the street. And there's a reason for that. They shouldn't be parked in the street to begin with. I mean, but I'm going to tell you why they are. Because when their garage doors are open, like if I walk late, like I don't like to walk midday. So if I miss walking in the mornings, I sleep in for whatever reason, which is rare. I'll walk later in the afternoon when it's cooler. People's garage doors are up because they're out doing stuff, and there's so much shit packed in those garages. Packed. I mean, right to the door. Just stuff. And people, and I have family members who are like this. I got family members like this. Pack rats. And I'm sure it's across country, across the world. People buy shit. Well, what the problem is, you go to a big box department store or a grocery store, and they have a promotional aisle. They always had a promotional aisle in my store. There's like, they have Christmas stuff, they got Easter stuff, they got summer stuff, they got spring stuff, they got back to school stuff in the promotional aisles. And they have these in all the stores, big box stores included, retail operations nationwide. They got stuff. Especially the holidays, Christmas. Oh, Pappy, let's get that white Christmas tree. It's real pretty. It's a nice Christmas tree, Pappy. Well, darling, we already got one. We already got a fake Christmas tree we bought back in 1950. Yeah, but Pappy, that one's brand new. And look, the lights are a little bit brighter. I think this is called an LED lights? I don't know what that is, Pappy, but can we get that one? I mean, let's just get it. Let's just get it. And then he keeps on saying, no, just get it. And after a while, he's tired of hearing his wife bitch. So he buys it. Stuffs it in the cart. You know, let's make some room. Stuff it in the cart, in the box. Stuff it in there. And they can't get out of that aisle while buying stuff. Oh, Pappy, look at these little candles. Let's buy some of these. Well, we already got plenty of candles. Mary Kay, we got some already at the house. Oh my God, I'm telling you, that's how it starts. So it's people in general that have this mindset that they have to buy more stuff, more garbage. I call it garbage, just stuff. And so what happens over a course of years? Now, I might be talking to some people watching my program right now who are guilty of this. And don't feel bad, because everyone has stuff. We all have stuff. I got stuff. But not that, I could walk in my garage. But let's get back on topic. But so that, because this was the stuff I saw when I worked in my company for all those years. They had these promotional aisles, and people would buy garbage. They'd just buy stuff because it looked good on the. Hey, look, Pappy, it looks good on the shelf. Let's buy some more of that stuff. Hey, look, the wise men in the manger. That's got the LED lights too. Let's buy that. And that happens. It goes on all day. It does. It really does. Excuse me. A good friend bought me this cup. It says retired meat cutter. It says retired meat cutter. It's not my problem anymore. I love this cup. Anyway, so my rule of thumb is this, because I've lived in 3 different properties since I've been in Cincinnati, and I finally downsized to a little condo. But my rule's always been the same: if I don't touch it, look at it, or anything in 6 months, it goes to either Goodwill or in the garbage can. And that is the way I live. So I reduce clutter. I don't have clutter. Everything in my garage is something I need, something I have to, I have Christmas tree lights I like to put in my trees. There's Christmas tree lights hanging on a hook in my garage, and next to it is a ladder, and next to it's a boomstick to get it up to there. It's like a telescope pole that gets it up there because I can't reach that high. So that's stuff I need. I got tools. I got jumper cables. These are the things I need. I don't have any garbage in there, though. Stuff I'm tripping over. Just so people, that's the problem. They say, oh, well, the street is a public street. I'll just park my truck out here with a boat attached to it. I see that when I walk every morning. This guy's got a big old boat with his trailer out in the fucking main road. So when I'm driving down the street to go somewhere, I got to pull to the right when some asswipe wants to go past me because this guy can't get his garage cleaned out and his home organized. So he's got to park his fucking boat in the street. It's just, whoa. You see what I'm saying? I call it like it is. I see it and I call it. 8-ball, corner pocket. I see the obvious and I talk about it. I don't go, oh, I got blinders on. I'm not going to talk about this stuff. You got to. I just wish I could do something about it, but I can't. I should run for city council. No, we're not going to do that. People would hate me. I had a friend, one of my buddies, I talked about him in another episode, Tom. He was a carpenter. And he's now deceased, but this guy was the ultimate pack rat. Ultimate pack rat. And what I mean by that, he had an apartment at one point that he lived in for almost 15 years. And then he advanced into a home. He bought a 2-family house, was with a big home. And so he had like 3 times the space in his house that he had in his apartment. But I went to pick him up one day in his apartment because I was a designated driver that night. This was back in the early 90s when we used to go down to Main Street. And I picked him up. And when I went into his apartment, you couldn't see, I couldn't see the couch. I couldn't see any chairs. There was a path. I'm not lying. There was literally, I had to walk a path from the door, and it kind of snaked around into the kitchen. And when I got to the kitchen, because there was shit everywhere, he had scuba diving tanks on the couch with whatever, I don't know, boxes of stuff. And then you could see his TV, and there was a single chair. So he wasn't reclining on anything to watch TV. He was sitting on a chair. And then I walked through the kitchen. You couldn't see the countertops. There was pizza boxes stacked. Newspapers, just stuff. He didn't cook, obviously, because his stove you couldn't see his stove. Then the list goes on. He was a pack rat to the fullest extent, pack rat. It was bad. And so that was the first and only time I saw his place. I'm like, oh my God, because I'm a neatnik. I am. People walk into my little condo. Everything has its place. One of these days I'll go live and on this thing, and I'll I'll show you my place. Everything has its place. Everything has its place. I'm a single guy. I want things where I know where they're going to be. I had friends say one time when they came over here a couple of years ago for a football game, and they said, God, Gary, it's like you live in a museum here. Are you gay? And they were kidding. Are you gay? I'm like, no, I'm not gay. Why, you got to be gay to have your place look nice? I'm like, I just like my place orderly. I like to know where everything is. I got some very close friends that live like slobs. Slobs, man. I mean, to be in their place, when I go over their places, which is very rare, they got shit everywhere. I mean, beer cans, pizza boxes. Pizza boxes. That's the reason why people are fat. I'm allowed to talk about fat people, and I'll tell you why. And I'm going to get off topic really quick, because you know this is me being random. I'm allowed to talk about fat people because I'm slender. But I used to be bigger. I used to drink a lot of beer. I used to eat a lot of garbage. I mean garbage. I eat on the run. I was one of these guys that at the end of the day came home from work with a 6-pack of beer under his arm and a packet of bologna, some of that processed cheese, some mustard, and I would make a sandwich. A bologna sandwich is the worst shit you could eat is bologna. You don't want to know how they make this stuff. I'm telling you right now. You don't want to know. And I would make me a bologna sandwich, slap on 3 slices of bologna, squirt on some mustard, and then slap on maybe some jalapeno peppers. Say, hey, I'm eating my vegetables with the jalapenos. And slap the other piece of bread on there and smash down the sandwich over the sink. No plate. So, and I was sloppy, man. You should have seen me. My face was real puffy. You could see I had triple chin. I had puffy cheeks. I mean, I've always had red cheeks. I don't know why. I've always had rosy cheeks. But they were really red. My nose was red all the time. My eyes were all puffy. And I had a gut. A beer gut, and I had side pipes on the side of my waist. It was disgusting. I weighed 222 pounds, 224 pounds at my worst. My blood pressure was through the ceiling. And this was 3 years ago. When if my yearly physical, my doctor said, Gary, you're a mess. Your blood pressure's off the chart. You need to change your lifestyle. And that's when I stopped drinking alcohol. I stopped. I mean, that's all it took. I'm an all or nothing kind of guy. I'm going to one extreme to the next. There's no middle ground with me. There is no middle ground. It's either I go this way or I go that way, but there's no middle ground. So when he said your blood pressure's jacked and you're overweight and you look like shit and your health has gone to the toilet, and when he said lifestyle change, I went all in. Came home, dumped all the beer in the sink because I had a bunch of beer. Dumped all the beer in the sink. Opened up the freezer, threw all the frozen pizzas in the garbage can, all of them in the garbage can. Just snap a finger, changed my life. Joined the gym, did that for a minute. Then I started exercising, started a program, got in shape. So I'm allowed to talk about people that are overweight because I know some people are overweight because they can't control it, because they have gland problems. I get that. I'm not that insensitive. And I know I've talked about that in another program. But it's the people that continue to eat and eat and eat are generally the people that are pack rats. You think about it. If you get into the psychology of a pack rat, people that store a lot of stuff, have a lot of stuff in their basement and their garage, then what's in their head? Their head's got to be all scrambled up. If you can't stay focused, I know I'm getting serious for him, but it's true. If you are not focused between your ears in your life, if your life isn't 100% focused and and a good conscience, a good mind, where you're thinking clearly, things are good and stable in your life. You're in either a good relationship, a good marriage, or you're single like me and happy. If things are like that, between your ears are good, then everything around you is going to be good. It's a matter. I mean, I'm sure it's proven in psychology. So when you see clutter in someone's garage, clutter in someone's basement, clutter in their backyard, shit everywhere, the psychology is their brains are probably scattered with all kinds of shit. Gotta be. Okay, I'll get off my soapbox. But that's how it is. So when I'm walking down the street in the morning, I know, see, I'm going right back to walking. But when I'm walking down the street early in the morning, if someone else is walking that early, I can tell right away they aren't a partier. Because if someone's getting out of bed that early, because like I said, I'm an early riser, kind of always been. If I see someone exercising that early in the morning like I am, I know they're in shape. I know they take care of themselves. And I know they were out partying with their boys or partying with the girls on Friday night. Tearing one up. Doing shots at the bar. Yeah, it's your birthday. Have another shot. Hey, Paul, let's get another shot of that tequila. I've seen it. I used to bartend. I've seen this stuff. So, yeah, man, if you're if you're an early riser and you're out walking first thing in the morning, you're generally you probably don't have a garage full of stuff. And your mind's pretty good, or you're trying to work through some things, because sometimes walking and exercise really helps. If people are damaged for whatever reason, I know I'm getting serious again, but if you're damaged somehow, you're going through a breakup or a divorce or whatever, you're having a tough time at work or you got some issues, walking helps because it gives you a chance to clear your mind and think. So that's why I walk. And now I walk just for health. So when I'm walking in the morning, I see cars parked in the street and parked in the driveway. I know for shit sure that their garages are stuffed full of junk. And it's true. It's true. And if I walk in the afternoon or drive by in the afternoon or anytime during the day, these people's houses, the garage doors never open. Because if they open, stuff would fall out into the driveway. That's how much shit they got piled in there. I can just imagine. I have seen it in living color. I think they had a show on TV about that. What are they called? It's called Hoarders. I watched maybe one episode of it and I said, wow, this is nothing. I've seen worse. I was the landlord for a while, man. I saw some stuff. Thank God I'm not a landlord anymore. People live like pigs. Okay, well, I'm getting off that topic, and this thing's going longer than I wanted to go. But I wanted to throw that out there. If you do me a huge favor, if you like my content, can you please like and subscribe to my channel? If you don't want to subscribe, that's cool. I get it. If you don't want to, that's fine. You know where to find me. But like my content. That'll help my channel a lot. I appreciate you coming by and viewing. If you like me, if you like the way I'm awful critical, I tell like it is. But I'm not afraid to tell. I don't care if someone tells me what they think of me. Fine. Sticks and stones, man. Sticks and stones. I've heard worse by way better. So bring it. What do you got to say? Bring it. I'm not afraid of that shit. Anyway, so hey, you all have a fantastic weekend. Week, wherever you are in this life, whatever. But thanks for stopping by and checking out my content today. And have a fantastic day. And I'll catch you on the flip side. Peace out.